Okay, so we've talked about all kinds of things with sites. And right now we're going to talk about, I've put this special header in here. I've created this header for my site. I downloaded it and then I uploaded it, and now it looks beautiful within the header of my site. But it has a specific parameter. I have a template actually that I've created, or that I've found, and then I kind of made it my own, that I use to build my sites. Okay, so how does that work? So what I do is I'm going to actually show it to you. This right here is my template. This part here in the middle, this blue part, that is actually the width and the length of the header of a Google site. The gray part on the edges will show if I use the larger header, but if I use just the standard header, just this part will show. So whatever I put into this part right here, into this where the blue box is, that's going to show in my header. So what I do with this template, let's say I don't want this piece in there. All right. So now the white part that's in there, I can put an image in there. I could put several images in here, but it has to just stay within this parameter. Now, does this have to stay gray? Of course not. I can change this color because I'm using Google Draw. I can change this color to whatever color that I want. Now, if you want a copy of this header, inside of this course, there is a link to this header, and you can, and it will ask you to make a copy of it, and then you will have your own copy of a header template for your Google Sites in the event that you want to use it. I recommend using it. That way you can make any type of header that you want, using images and text, and you can make it as fancy as you like, because Google Draw is beautiful at the way that it works. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna insert an image in here, and I'm just gonna upload one from my computer, and I'm just gonna upload this little emoji here because I want to work quickly here. So I'm going to put this in here, and maybe I want to change the background color, which I can. I can add a shape in here and change the background color, etc. And now I'm ready to download this. I'm ready to download this image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on File, and I'm going to click on download, or I'm going to hover over download and go down to PNG. PNG is the best file type because it's not a very big file type, but it is a really good graphic. Okay, JPEG is also really good, but the file size can be larger. So I'm going to go to Ping, and it's going to say, okay, where do you want to save it? I'm going to save it to my desktop. Okay. All right, so now I've saved that header. All right, so I'm going to go back into my site, and I'm going to go to my pages, and I'm going to go to page 1 because I don't want the same header on page 1. Change the image, and I'm going to upload. And I'm going to upload. Here we go. There we go. You'll see how easy that was. And you see the gray because I am using the large banner type. If I just use a regular banner type, you'll see there's just a little line. But again, you can change these lines. You can change the color on the template. So again, if you want that copy of that template, just click on the link inside of the coursework, and you will be able to download or make a copy and put it in your Google Drive, and then you will always have it where you can always change it. That's a really good part about the header, is that you can always go back and change it. And just remember to hit that publish button when you make those changes. Otherwise, your viewers will not see those changes. So that's how you add a header into, or I should say a custom header into your Google site. What about custom buttons? Well, let's take a look at a custom button. What I've done is I made this big button right here, and you can say, oh my gosh, it's so big, it's so huge. Yes, but that's on purpose because I want it to be a good size, so that way when I shrink it down, it still looks decent. So what I did was I made this frame right here. I made it a specific size, the canvas. I made it a specific size. So if I go into File, when I open up a new Google Draw, and I go to File, and I go to Page Setup. Now the page setup for this one is 2.8 inches by 104 inches. But if you'll notice, if I go to pixels, I have it as 200 by 100 pixels. Now that's not very big, but that's big enough for my button. Now my button's going to be thicker than the buttons that Google provides for me in Google Sites, which is what I want. I want a larger button so people can really see it. Okay, so I click apply. And I have this as an enroll button. I was working on one of our sites and I wanted them to enroll into courses. So I added an enroll button. And all I did was I went up to the shapes up here and I created a rectangle. I just put it straight in the middle. And then I colored it. I found a color that matched the website I was creating, put it in there. And then I added a text box and I put the text in there. That's all that I did. All I did. Remember, this is 200 by 100. And then I just set it right in the center. And there are guidelines. If you'll notice here, if I kind of move this and you see there's a red, see I'm right in the center now. There's that red crosshair right there in the middle. That shows me exactly where I am on my canvas. And I'm right in the center, which is what I want. When I'm ready to use it, again, I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to hover over Download, and I'm going to do the PNG, and enroll. I'm going to save it. Just downloaded it. Now I'm ready to put it into my site. So I'm going to go back to my site, and I double-clicked, and I get my little wheel here, and I'm going to click on Upload, and I'm going to click on that image there, and there it is. That's the size that it is. Now I can change that size. I can make it larger. It looks a little out of focus, or I can make it smaller. Okay, but you'll notice that if I insert a button right here, new, and we're just going to link it to page 3. There we go. Look at the difference in size. Now, again, because of the theme, this is the color that the buttons will come out. But I can change the color of my customized button to any color that I want because I'm using Google Draw to make this. But look at the difference in size. If I want to make this one bigger, I can only make it bigger lengthwise. I can't make it bigger widthwise. So that's why I like to create my own buttons. I can, make them a little bit bigger because especially if I want to make it eye-catching and I want people to make sure that they know where to click, I want to make my own buttons. So now I use Google Draw to make my headers. And I don't have a template for the button just because you just go in and you make it 200 by 100, add your shape, and you don't necessarily have to use a rectangle. You use a circle. You could use a triangle. You could, you could use it just a regular square. You have some leeway there, which is kind of nice because then you can make anything a button. You make it as attention getting as you want. So that's why I like to make my own buttons and I like to make my own headers to make my site really mine and customized. And that's all I have to say about that.